In this second short assignment, I will be discussing the topic on both the utilitarianism and the vegetarian video. As my thesis statement, I will be explaining to you why I believe that from a utilitarianism perspective, you should not become a vegetarian because it goes against the greater majority. As a citation, according to the Vegetarian Times, the Vegetarianism in America study published by Vegetarian Times showed that 3.2% of U.S. adults, or 7.3 million people, follow a vegetarian-based diet. Citing the professor's video on utilitarianism, he states that utilitarianism is designed to create the best possible outcomes for the situation. So the best possible outcomes would be the greater amount, the best, the whole. So it would say, let's say you're trying to please the majority with the greatest outcome because you're more worried about the big impact. Who are you impacting? The larger majority would be the best possible consequence and best possible outcome. So you have these 7.4 billion people that live in the world and only 7.3 million, which is a lot smaller of a number. Suppose you were to take away meat from the rest of that huge number, it would be going against the majority. Now, out of those 7.3 million people who are on a vegetarian-based diet, you have to take into consideration the 7.4 billion people that live in this world. As you can tell, the small amount compared to the large amount of people that live in this world goes to show you that the vast majority of the people in this world eat meat. So, as an objection to my thesis, you will have to say that you're obviously objecting it. So, as an objection to my thesis, someone would say, people will argue my thesis, that you have to take into consideration the way the animals feel. So in the Steve-O video, which I'm citing here, he said that these animals feel pain and they feel pleasure and they feel when they get their throats slit, because you could see the pigs squirming in pain on the ground with the blood coming out of them. And it's terrible to see. But I would use as my rebuttal to rebuke that by saying it doesn't have to always be so cutthroat and so torturous. A lot of these factory facilities incorporate a peaceful death. You could use some type of poison to kill them, or you could use some type of chamber and put them all in at once and kill them without having them suffer and squirm and bleed out and doing it that way. So there's a lot of other ways you can kill these animals without making them actually suffer from long durations of time. There are many things that you have to take into consideration by encouraging people all to become vegetarians. That a lot of these meat processing companies and factories, they have people working for them. There's a lot of jobs on the line here, and there's a lot of people that are getting paid and employed to produce the meats. So when you have a huge population of 7.4 billion people and you take away only a small 3.2% of that 7.4 billion, you can't just completely block out all those jobs because there's so many people and there's such a demand for the people that want to eat meat. So you can't just completely cut that out of people's lives, because that is completely going against the majority and it's creating a bad consequence and not a better consequence. By having people eat meat, it creates a better consequence by using the utilitarianism method. It's a better consequence because it pleases the majority of the people. More people eat meat, most people eat meat, and that's just the majority of the people. So at the end of the day, these meat distributing companies and facilities are pleasing the majority of the people because they're the ones that are providing the meat to these people. So the biggest thing is you want to look at it from the utilitarianism perspective, and you want to look at the Steve-O perspective in this situation. Steve-O in the video is obviously trying to encourage people to go the vegetarian route and make sure that they realize that what these companies and some of these factors are doing is terrible. However, you have to look at it from the majority of the perspective that there's already almost, because you have to take away the 7.3 million, almost 7.4 billion people in the world that are eating meat, that are into it. So the small majority, I don't even want to say majority, the small amount of people, there's 3.2% of people in this world that don't really eat meat. 7.3 million people is a lot, but when you look at it compared to the entire world, it's not that many. Think about how many people you know that are vegetarians. What, 1 out of every 25? There's not that many people. So as a result, to wrap this short assignment up, after going over my 3 citations, after going over my objection and my rebuttal, I'm going to back up my thesis statement by restating that I do disagree that people should become vegetarians when you bring along the utilitarianism point of view and the Steve-O video point of view from the vegetarian video. I think that when you have the utilitarianism point of view involved, you can't force people to become vegetarians because it's going to be displeasuring a big majority of the world. Most of the people in the world decide and choose that they want to eat meat, and when you take that away from them, it's going to displeasure them. Utilitarianism also, like I stated before, is designed to create better consequences. So when you take away this, it's a bad consequence. So it's going to be going against the utilitarianism way. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this video, and I appreciate it. Another thing that I would like to point out to you too is that my shirt really does say "Surrender the Booty" on it, and I'm hoping that does get me some type of extra credit in this project. Hi guys, in this short assignment, I would like to argue this.
Hi, welcome to Chili's.